Now, a First Alert Weather Breakdown. First Alert Weather Day Special Edition with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Hello, it's First Alert Weather Breakdown on a First Alert Weather Day. I'll be meteorologist Evan Thomason on your screen here in just a moment. But let's take a look at the First Alert Doppler radar, see what we're dealing with here. At the moment, it is scattered storms still all across the region, but we're starting to see some good news of some drying conditions. And you can kind of look at that a little bit there on our Doppler radar here at this moment. There's a live look. We mostly have scattered storms at and south of I-20. If you look north of I-20, things are looking a little better. Starting to still see a couple stray storms being formed in areas around Mount Pleasant up to the portions of northeast Texas up in here. But lots of dry weather dry air has finally started drying up the atmosphere north of Texarkana. Texarkana, I think, is in the clear here from now. No, I wouldn't say for now, but for the rest of the day today. And most of that dry air is starting to make its way down the I-49 corridor, and you can kind of see the last of the storms, at least scattered coverage of storms, right along the I-20 corridor. Again, we're not forming any more storms either around Texarkana or just north of Texarkana. We're continuing to see these storms move southward, and eventually we'll get this dry air working in here into the I-20 corridor, hopefully in the next hour or so. I do think it's still going to be raining here for quite a while, especially in areas around Nacogdoches and Natchitoches. Still a lot of rain to get through, especially from that I-20 corridor. All that rain's still going to move all the way southward, but at least we are slowly but surely drying things up here. We were expected to continue to still have storms here throughout the rest of the morning hours. That's pretty much the case here for the day today. We'll have so many more details again coming up in your First Alert Weather Breakdown. Hello again, I'm meteorologist Evan Thompson. Thank you for joining the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Also, thanks to you that are watching from our Facebook live stream as well for our First Alert Weather Day. Not gonna lie, this is pretty much the last little bit of our First Alert Weather Day coverage. The noon show, I'll go ahead and let you know that already at the noon show, we're prepared to kind of drop the First Alert Weather Day, and we're just gonna go back into our, I guess, normal weather modes to be specific. But we did want to include the First Alert Weather Day and include you guys still in the First Alert Weather Day because there's still several showers out and around the region. But as I kind of just mentioned, we're slowly starting to find a nice little trend of dry air finally pushing out a good amount of that stormy activity out of areas of the northern half of the Arklatex. And over the next hour or so, I think we'll see a big change, especially in areas around the I-20 corridor. And that dry air is going to eventually reach through the rest of the region here for the early afternoon hours. I think the early afternoon hours is when we dry out pretty much most of the Arklatex, just in time for the afternoon commute. The afternoon commute should be dry for everybody to start off their weekend here for here for around 5-6 p.m. It's going to be a fine Friday night. We do technically have a rain chance, a little one, in store here for Labor Day weekend. We'll go over that here in just a little bit, but we're not expecting anything to happen as major as what's happened so far this morning. And oh my goodness, it's just been rain after rain after rain. We've continued to form storms again in the northern half of the Arklatex. It started up near Texarkana throughout the overnight hours, and then it made its way down to Shreveport and Bossier starting around 2-3 a.m., and, I mean, we've had some breaks of dry weather in Shreveport and Bossier, but we've still had mostly rain here for the past 8 hours. It's pretty much been a consistent on-off switch here through the Arklatex. Definitely making some noise with some good thunderstorms. But I will say even the heaviest of thunderstorms have started to weaken here at this point. We really haven't had severe thunderstorm warnings. The threat has just been flash flooding. We've had several flash flood warnings, which are technically still ongoing here right now, as we continue to still see rain showers on top of our areas that have already been soaked. But again, those should only last for another hour or two, and then we're expecting that to finally fully dry up. All right, so let's get into the rundown here for the day today, as it is technically a First Alert Weather Day, still at least for the next hour or two before we fully dry things out. So just a few more severe storms to get through. Again, we'll get through the exact timing of when we'll dry out certain areas in our future track here coming on up. On top of that, we do have our exclusive content in for the day today. Usually we just go over First Alert Weather Day stuff. It's just a First Alert Weather Day. I'll also answer questions on our Facebook and YouTube feeds as well. But in addition to that, I thought I'd also, look forward to the weekend. as well, since it's coming up, especially a 3-day one at that as well. And it's also our first football weekend. Some local high school back in action. Also, local colleges back in action. We got a forecast for LA Tech coming up. Grambling is in town in Shreveport as well. And I think I threw in a LSU forecast. They are in Clemson, South Carolina tomorrow night. So look out for that too. All right, let's get back into the graphics. And before I get started with this full local forecast, let me go ahead and give a shout out to anybody who's watching on our Facebook or YouTube live streams. Paul, thank you for joining. Appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining. If you have any comments or questions, again, let us know on the YouTube or Facebook streams. I always can respond to those live on the stream. It's pretty cool. But anyways, let's get and hop straight into it. For those of you who just want to sit back and relax and wait the full forecast here for you. All right, we're going to go thoroughly into this radar here in just a moment, but let's get a little introduction of what we're dealing with here for the time being. Let's get camera look. First, here's a live look into Shreveport. Still dealing again with some rain showers definitely falling down. You can kind of see just a little mark that happened on the camera there. Just a little tiny rain shower that left its mark right around there. Here at this hour, you get the point. It's raining in Shreveport and Bossier. Still got gray, gloomy skies hanging with us here for the time being. We still do have our flash flood watch in effect. Technically goes up into this afternoon. That should hopefully be expired. And once it's expired, that's really when our threat starts to die down here later on today. I'm expecting that to last probably for another hour or two before the National Weather Service gets to expire that. All right, here's a thorough check into what we're dealing with here for our radar. Again, as I kind of mentioned, lots of dry air, lots of more dry conditions are starting across the northern half of the Arklatex. Hey, we got to start somewhere, especially to clear out the rest of the region. So this is the first little bit of optimism that I have to clear out the rest of the rain that's still along the I-20 corridor southward. And there's still lots of it. And there's still a good amount of pockets of heavy rainfall. In fact, I've still noticed a little bit of a formation of still a couple of cells that have continued to form, especially in areas around Mount Pleasant. The storms have formed here and have continued to skirt along the edge of the Arklatex here, going right down Longview, continuing to deliver them with lots of heavy rainfall. And some of that shower activity has made its way definitely to Shreveport and Bossier. So specifically for Shreveport and Bossier, still underneath the rainy skylines here for now, but you can see the dry air from the north is starting on its way downward. It's already made its way into northern Caddo and northern Bossier parishes. Just got to get to the actual towns themselves, hopefully in the next couple of minutes. But, I mean, you can see how big this system is. I mean, this has encompassed the entire Arklatex with scattered showers. Your entire drive from Harrison County all the way out towards Ruston is nothing but rain here at this moment in time. Now, to be fair, again, we have plenty of scattered showers also throughout the southern half of the Arklatex. Although most of it light to moderate rainfall. Nothing too heavy here at the moment, which is good. Mansfield, Carthage, Stonewall, Coshada, all areas of Bienville Parish still dealing with rain. Still for Natchitoches as well. Light rain here at this moment. More moderate rainfall out towards Many. A little more of some heavier rain bands going through St. Augustine and Natchitoches here at this hour, too, as we continue to accumulate the rainfall down there. Now, obviously, all these storms moving again, from northwest to southeast, so all this dry air from the north, drier air, maybe a stray shower or two left in a few kind of localized areas. All this is moving down south, which is going to clear out all the rain here slowly but surely in the next couple of hours. All right. So that's that. Again, we still have flash flood warnings ongoing. Before we get to rain totals, let's go over the flash flood warnings. And those are in effect here mostly until noon, it looks like. We still have a few of them. Panola and Shelby County has been extended until 12:15. The one for Caddo, DeSoto, Harrison, and Panola counties extended until 11:15, so still for another hour or two. These flash flood warnings are still in effect for. And again, this is a good portion of the Arklatex. Marshall, Carthage, Center, Stonewall, southern end of Shreveport and Bossier there too. And this does include Mansfield as well. All these areas still remain. Again, this is flash flood warning, so still ongoing flooding issues across some roadways. I mean, the ground's not going to be able to take a break until it stops raining, period. It's nice enough that the rainfall levels have kind of dropped off a little bit from the heavier rain that we felt out earlier this morning. But the rainfall's still there, and the ground doesn't take a break again until we finally get dry conditions working back in here. So, how much rain has fallen? This is the last thing before the future track here. This graphic takes a little while to load to kind of compile all the data together. So as it loads, I'll just go ahead and talk. We've had a substantial amount of rainfall. I believe at the Shreveport Airport, they've already recorded, as of last check about an hour or so ago, the Shreveport Airport has already picked up on, I think, somewhere in the ballpark of 4 inches of rain. And that's just happened from this morning alone. Again, Shreveport didn't really get much rain last night at all, for that matter. But you can see in some of these darker shades, some of these yellow and red shades, kind of the scars, so to speak, of where the heaviest rainfall has been. Most of that has been in pockets of Shreveport, in Caddo Parish, around Shreveport. Bossier Parish, also out for DeSoto Parish as well. And also around some areas of Texarkana, including a good bit of Cass County and Marion County there in East Texas, too. Now, instead of just looking at colors, let me actually show you what some of these rain totals mean. Here's an example in Cass County, 7.5 underneath that red dot in central Cass County there. I had a brain fart there for a second. So again, this is the rain totals over the last 48 hours. So this includes also the rainfall from yesterday, from Thursday, but still impressive enough to get 6 inches of rain down in DeSoto Parish. Looks like we have somewhere in the ballpark of 5 inches of rain on the northern end of Shreveport that we've picked up on. Western Harrison County, 5.6. These are impressive rain totals. 5 to 7 inches of rain that we've already picked up on in the last several hours. That's no small feat. This is why we've issued a first alert weather day. This is why we've definitely received some reports of flooding on roadways. Again, the rain's just starting to dwindle down now, but it's still there. That's why we want to keep you first alert, technically for first alert weather day, again, for the next hour or two. Before the future track looks like this around 12:30. Again, for the noon show, we're pretty much canceling our first alert weather day, but that doesn't mean the rain's going to be completely gone. I think we'll still see a few little bits of some rain showers still left over for noon, 1 p.m., but you see the storms being a lot more fewer and far between, and especially once we get into 2 p.m., it's more like 2 stray showers left across the region there by the time we get into 2 p.m., and then certainly when we're headed home from work and school, things look the best, essentially. We're completely drying up the skies by that point here for tonight. Now, that doesn't mean the storm chance is completely gone. Believe it or not, for Saturday morning, there's a chance of storms specifically for those in the southern half of the Arklatex. Again, early tomorrow morning, we could be dealing with still more storms that contain some heavy rainfall. That could add to a little bit of a flash flood threat, especially because we've already been completely soaked over today, and our ground isn't going to have too much of a chance to kind of recuperate itself for tomorrow. Technically, the Storm Prediction Center and the National Weather Service does have us under a marginal risk of flash flooding for those tiny little storms that could show up tomorrow. But I'm not expecting as many storms to form, period, tomorrow morning, or to show up at all. But out of the ones that do, could provide a little bit of a heavy rainfall chance and risk there for your Saturday morning. Then heading into Sunday, kind of the same thing, although Sunday morning looks, at least starting off, pretty good. I think Sunday afternoon is when we have a little small rain chance again. So rain chance doesn't completely go away here for the weekend, but thankfully, the overall severe risk slowly but surely dwindles down. So again, most of the risk here for the day today is just left for flash flooding. We haven't seen any reports of hail or strong winds here from today alone. All of our severe thunderstorm warnings happened yesterday. We haven't had a single one today at all. And thankfully, we haven't seen a tornado at all either. Now, I think this still needs to refresh. I think we still picking up probably around a half inch to an inch of rain left from the rainfall that we have out, especially for the southern half of the Arklatex, compared to 2 inches. But, hey, that's still a lot compared to what we've already gotten rain-wise. Last thing I want to go over before we take a quick break, and then we're going to go over questions on our Facebook and YouTube feeds, is temperatures. This is a significant story here for the day today, believe it or not. And obviously all of it's about the storms in the first alert weather day, which, go figure, it impacts your travel. But this is surprising. In white was your high temperatures yesterday. We still had highs up into the mid 90s. In the case of Shreveport, we had highs around 99 tomorrow, or excuse me, yesterday in Shreveport. Now look what the projected high temperature is for the day today there in Shreveport. It is at 80 degrees. Highs are expected only in the upper 70s in Texarkana and Shreveport. That is a temperature change of 20 degrees. 20 degrees. That is impressive. So impressive. So, yeah, about a 15 to 20 degree temperature drop here between yesterday and today. And I'm actually looking off to the side because I'm actually trying to pull up the current temps now. They're slowly loading. There you go. I mean, it's 10:45. If you remember, and we're on the first weather breakdown yesterday, we had the temperatures around this time in the mid to upper 80s. Temperatures are still in the upper 60s and lower 70s. It feels nice out with the storms. In fact, there's your temperature change. In just the past 24 hours, we've dropped that temperature, especially for areas along and south of I-20. We've dropped the temperatures by about 10 to 15 degrees. A huge, significant drop-off in the temperature. And again, that limits the highs pretty much only into the upper 70s and lower 80s here for the day today. Now, to be fair, highs are expected to increase in the Labor Day weekend. This is my last graphic here coming on up before the 7-day forecast. Labor Day weekend, you see the highs slowly but surely increasing. We're back to a high of 90 by Monday, but overall highs still remain below average in those 80s here through the weekend, which will be nice. Just watch out for a few stray showers around, but nothing of which should cause severe weather or should cancel plans for that matter either. I still think we're going to get a good amount of dry conditions and sunshine working through your entire Labor Day weekend. All right, so stay weather aware with us again just for the next few hours, 2-3 hours with the rain still around, especially for areas of the southern half of the Arklatex. But we're slowly expected to clear up that rain momentarily, essentially, before clearing things out for this afternoon. Again, just stray shower left for this weekend. Then once we get the sunshine back out next week, that's when the summer heat returns with highs back into those 90s. All right, well, when we come back, we'll see if there's any Facebook or YouTube comments. I haven't had the chance to look because I've been stuck on looking on the graphics. I'll answer any Facebook, YouTube questions that you guys have at all about any of the storms still around, anything that's happened, anything that will happen, so to speak. Again, I'll go over social media questions then, and stick around also for your football forecast. You going out to the Grambling game at Independence Stadium here for tomorrow night, or if you're going out towards Ruston also tomorrow night as they are taking on Southeastern down in Hammond. All right, that'll be pretty cool. Anyways, we'll be right back after this for some more forecasts. Hey, welcome on back to the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Again, I'm meteorologist Evan Thomas, and thank you very much for joining us here for the day today. To always look at your First Alert Weather Day coverage here and trusting us here with KSLA News 12 with your severe weather coverage. And thankfully, it's just starting again to dry out. We still have problems. We still have lots of storms all covered across the southern half of the Arklatex. Still multiple flash flood warnings ongoing until noon. But again, this should be the last hour or two that we're dealing with this. And then we can look forward to much better conditions heading on into the rest of today and, for the most part, heading into the weekend. Just want to give, I only see one comment from either of our Facebook or YouTube streams on social media. And Janelle just says, thank you very much. Super forecast. Thumbs up to that. Thumbs up to the forecast we have ahead for the weekend. Thank you very much for watching. Appreciate it. If you're hanging around, guess what? You can check out my spiral. We got a special exclusive football forecast for the first time this year. I'm excited. I'm ecstatic about it. Let's hold up. Check out the form here. Check out the form. Watch out for it. Let me go back over to the weather graphics. Pretty good, right? Good spiral you saw there on the top of the graphic. The football forecast is back here on the First Start Weather Breakdown. On every single Friday that we've had this year, we've just basically tailored our Friday podcast to travel weekend, which has been great, going out towards Dallas, New Orleans, Little Rock. But we wanted to tailor our Friday forecast now into sports, specifically football. Football season, obviously one of the most prominent sports played outdoors. So, yeah, we are looking forward to that. College football's back. Local high school football, Arklatex is back. NFL is back next weekend. We'll incorporate a Cowboys and Saints forecast starting next Friday on the First Start Weather Breakdown. Then Cowboys play, I believe, on Thursday night coming up. They have the first NFL game of the season taking on the Eagles. And the Saints are at home in the Dome against the Cardinals 2 Sundays from now for their first game of the season. Meanwhile, though, let's talk this weekend first and foremost. So excited again to have football forecast back because I always say if I had a different job, which I love weather, never going to give up this, well, never would want to let up this job as a meteorologist. It's fantastic. I love it. But if I had the option to and were required to move positions around in KSLA, I would always consider myself to be a sports reporter. It's fun, fascinating. I love sports. Friday Night Football. Here's your forecast for it. Thankfully, all the storms from today are definitely cleared out by tonight. They're probably cleared out by 4, 5 p.m., most likely. But honestly, I can't think of a better forecast, especially for Week 1. Week 1 is in the Arklatex is notorious for temperatures that start off in the lower 90s around kickoff time still, with temperatures in the mid to upper 80s during the game where everybody is sweating like crazy. But that's not going to happen this time. It could still be a soggy field. Again, as we just mentioned with the rain totals, we've gotten somewhere in the ballpark of 4 to 7 inches of rain, and that doesn't just dry up easily. Even though we should dry up by most of the afternoon, obviously it could be a soggy field, especially if it's not turf. And for this afternoon and evening. But the thing is, it will be clear, rain will be gone, and the temperatures will be so comfortable. Mid-70s to lower 70s all around the region. It's going to be so nice here for tonight, temperature-wise. So that's one good news of what the rain has brought us here for the day today. Now, for college football, we got 3 different football forecasts for you tailored into your football weekend. The first of which is in Shreveport. That's right. We have a game at Independence Stadium here for Saturday night, and that one's looking like a good one as well. Might be a little hotter. Temperatures in the lower 80s for kickoff time, but still optimal. It's not in the 90s, so to speak. Temperatures during the game look to be in the upper 70s with not a drop of rain, definitely for the nighttime hours. As Langston takes on the Grambling Tigers there again at Independence Stadium on the west side of Shreveport. Will be a great game to get out to and watch. We should have the coverage here on KSLA News 12 here for tomorrow night. Also tomorrow night, down the road a little bit east out towards Ruston, we have LA Tech with their first game of the season. They are taking on another team from Louisiana in the Southeastern Lions down from Hammond. I have some good friends who live in Hammond, just east of Baton Rouge. So Southeastern, traveling up northward up I-49 and a little bit east on I-20 to take on LA Tech there in Ruston. Pretty similar conditions. Temperatures in the lower 80s and upper 70s during the game with not a drop of rain. Should be fantastic. And believe it or not, I have not checked on this graphic. I've had so much severe weather coverage that I've not even checked this graphic. And it works. Good. LSU. This is the last graphic I have. For those of you LSU fans around the region, by the way, I'm wearing my team colors here today. It is where, it's also my team's first game this coming weekend. Go Florida State Seminoles. They're taking on Alabama 2:30 on Saturday. Let's just say I don't have my hopes up. Anyways, LSU is taking on Clemson at 6:30. That's the kickoff time there, and that looks perfect. Lower 70s, upper 60s. Not really a chance of rain there in South Carolina, as the game is being played there in the other Death Valley. The Death Valley in, again, Clemson. Fun fact there. Pretty cool. But anyways, hope you enjoyed that full forecast. Let me check on our social media page. Social media pages. I believe we are all good. Yes, we're all good to go. I don't see any other comments to mention on YouTube or Facebook. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Not just today, but this full week of First Start with a Breakdown. I've always appreciated the comments, the likes, the support always on the stream. This is what makes this stream valuable. First Start with a Breakdown. Getting your comments in and also getting to spend the full time on weather. Just getting to explain each and everything in the nitty and gritty, especially when it comes to First Alert Weather Days. Because sometimes I'm rushing over my words, even on First Alert Weather Days. They give me extra time on air to say enough, but, always comfortable. Much more comfortable on the stream here on KSLA.com and wherever you're watching this, on our YouTube stream and on our Facebook stream as well. All right, it is weekend time coming on up, which means First Alert Weather Breakdown will be off for 2 days, for Saturday and Sunday. We will be back on Monday. First Alert Weather Breakdown, as we always kind of say on the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Weather doesn't take no holidays. It doesn't at all. This stream always runs Monday to Friday, no matter if, I think we take off Christmas Day and Thanksgiving Day, and that's it. Point is, we don't take off Labor Day. We will have a stream on for Labor Day for you on the First Alert with a Breakdown at KSLA News 12. CJ Cartledge will be your host on Monday. I know he's been gone all week. Not his problem, not his fault. That's the better phrase. Not his fault. He's been filling in for Matt Jones. Matt Jones has been on vacation. So CJ has been on the evening shift from 2 to 11, which is not now, essentially. So CJ will be back filling in for me, actually, on Monday. I will be completely gone. He will be doing the morning shows as well this coming Monday for Labor Day. I will be back on Tuesdays, First Alert with a Breakdown. Again, it starts at 10:30. It's on the stream you're watching on, except for Facebook. Sorry, Facebook. We only reserve you guys out for First Alert Weather Days. I'm not expecting a First Alert Weather Day next week. Fingers crossed. It shouldn't happen. But anyways, we'll be back here Monday at 10:30. CJ Cartledge will be your host. I don't know what he's talking about, so guess what? It'll be a surprise to you to look forward to on Labor Day itself. Next week, we're going to try to get more interviews. We're going to try to get more tropics talk in. We're also going to try to do a Katrina special next week. I know today, this is what I'm going to end off on. Today was the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. I have a good story about that I'm going to share from my own personal experience that I will share next week. We're going to have a specific segment for that. I kind of just got caught up in the First Alert Weather Day stuff between yesterday and today that I haven't had much of a time to talk about Hurricane Katrina at all. But it is the 20th anniversary of that. That made a big impact on my life, just to put it simply. I was 6 years old at the time. I am now 26. So Katrina is getting up to almost 21. So yeah, it's getting up there. So, certainly, it is an adult now, so it's wild to see how much it's been. Brain fart. Anyways, have a great. Let's get on with the weekend. Have a great weekend. We'll be back with this program again 10:30 on the live stream we're watching now on KSLA.com and on our YouTube stream as well. CJ Cartledge will see you then. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the beautiful conditions we will definitely have out by this afternoon. Have a good one, and I'll see you later.